Let's go over what we did today in class over the coordinate plane. Now this here is the thick arrow in your activity here online that you needed to print off, okay, and cut out. This represents the positive y values, okay, and then this here represents the negative y values, which should be review. Then you have here the positive x values, and then here the negative x values. Negative x values, the positive x value. Okay, then we also know that this represents the x-axis. This represents the y-axis. Okay, so now that you have that, there were 4 pieces of graph paper uploaded, so the graph paper should be like this. And these are the graph paper that you see uploaded that have the huge squares on them, so they kind of look like that. Something like that, and all 4 of them look like that. You should also know the origin is here, so that should say origin. And I'm trying to think of anything else. It's just really simple that you should know already in that list of things. Okay, we'll stop there, and then I'll start a new picture because I don't want to clutter this one. So let me draw these again. So you should know that there are 4 quadrants. That's why you have 4 pieces of graph paper, and I told you to print it off 4 times. This side is quadrant 1, and to remember that, you draw a C and follow the order of the C. And now you have ordered your quadrants. If you want to plot points, positive goes here. And how do we know that? Because remember, we wrote the word positive here, and we wrote the word positive here. These were positive x, these are positive y. Positive x, positive y, plus plus. For this one, we wrote negative on the x, so negative in an x spot, because x will always go first. Positive y, because y goes first. Excuse me, second. Y will be second. Okay, and then we do this one. Well, we wrote negative down here, negative y. So if this is x and it's negative, and this is y and it's negative, this one's negative, negative. Finally, x is positive and y is negative, so plus negative. So when you're graphing, let's say, for instance, let's graph point A to -3. You're going to go start here at the origin, okay, and go to 2 in the x spot that are positive, or x side where they're positive. So that's 1, 2, I go to the right. -3, I need to go down. 1, 2, 3. And that's point A. It's positive and negative, so we did it correctly. Let's do -2, 1. So go -2. Remember in the x, because you always do x first, and then you do y second. So -2, and it's positive y, so I go up. And that's point B. And how do I know? It's negative, positive, so I did it right. If I wanted to graph 3, 4, this is x, so which way do I go? Left or right? Correct, you go right, 3. Now the 4 is positive, and that's y, so I go either down or up. Which one? Up. And that's point C. Positive, 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 positive. Last but not least, point D is negative, negative, negative 1, negative 5. So we go to negative 1, which meaning we go left, because this is negative 1 too. But we want to go to the negative 1 on the left. And then we go down 5. And that's point D. Now I know you see the green tick marks that I made, and so you should know that this line here is the x-axis, but it is a number line. And then this here is the y-axis, and it is also a number line. Well, these lines here that are green on the x-axis represents the x values, and the x-axis may be horizontal, but its values are vertical. So you need to make a note that the x values will always cross the x-axis. And then here, the y values will always cross the y-axis. So if you thought that an x value should have been like that, that's incorrect. That is not an x value. The x values are the opposite of the way the x-axis will go. That's why you have the picture of the sidewalk. Because as you walk on a sidewalk, the little cracks that you skip over are the opposite way. Same example, as you walk on the x-axis, the x values look like the cracks in the sidewalk. Just as you being on a ladder, when you go up a ladder, the steps represent the y values. The ladder itself, the direction of the ladder represents the y-axis. But the steps you step on represent the y values.